Hello, so today we're going to waste no time. We're going to review the Meta Quest 3S. As you may already know, it's pretty much just a budgetized version of the Quest 3. Quest 3S. So, here's what you need to know. It's pretty much a Quest 3, except with a few minor differences, and I'm going to discuss those differences first in case that's all you really want to know. So, it comes in a 128 gigabyte model and in a 256 gigabyte model, so there's no 512 gigabyte model. It has slightly less of a display resolution. So the resolution is, I've got the numbers here, it's 1832 by 1920 as opposed to 2064 by 2208. So we're talking about maybe a 10% difference in terms of actual resolution, depending on which way you're measuring it. It has 773 pixels per inch on the display. With the Quest 3, it's 1218 pixels per inch. So less of a screen density because you've got less pixels on the same sort of size of a lens. Its FOV is a little bit less than the Quest 3. So you've got 96 horizontal, 90 vertical, 96 horizontal, 90 vertical. Whereas with the Quest 3, you have 110 horizontal, so it's, what is that, 14 degrees wider, and 96 vertical, which is 6 degrees vertical, higher, not that much of a big difference there. The bigger difference for most people might be that instead of having the pancake lens, the flat pancake lens that the Quest 3 does, this has the frontal, not pancake lenses. So you could see a little bit of circular light flare. To be honest, I haven't noticed much of a problem at all. And instead of having a variable eye pupil distance sort of setting, it has 3 discrete switches like the Quest 2 did. So not continuous pupillary distance sort of thing. Now, in terms of battery, this is where actually it gets a little bit surprising. Even though this technically has a smaller battery than a Quest 3, it's a 4324 mAh battery instead of a 5060 like on the Quest. I guess it's around 700 extra mAhs, but despite that, because of the lower resolution, and because it has the same CPU and everything, it's just outputting at a lower resolution, it consumes less battery, and therefore this is rated to last around 2.5 hours runtime average use, as opposed to the Quest 3, which gives you 2.2 hour runtime. So 0.3 of a difference. What's 0.3 of a difference in terms of gaming time? That's around, 20 minutes more or less. So you get 20 minutes more on a Quest 3S than you would on a Quest 3. Now, in terms of using it, I've used it for a few days now. It's fine. You're saving $200 and you're essentially getting a Quest 3. The differences are minor enough that you wouldn't really notice them unless you've already got a Quest 3 or unless you've tried a Quest 3 very frequently. You're used to playing with it. But otherwise, if you don't care about the little differences, this is basically a Quest 3. Overall, I think this is an incredible and quite remarkable VR headset. It lets you get into VR. It's a standalone headset, and it does it for $300 if you get the 128 gigabyte model. It's a very smooth, very affordable entry into VR, and it'll run Batman. It'll run basically everything out there that's coming out for Quest 3. It'll run Quest 3 exclusive, no problems. It is the same processor as the Quest 3. There's no issue here. You get Batman for free when you buy it, and I think Batman is going to retail for between $40 to $50, so it's essentially like you're paying $250 for this headset, and because you're getting Batman. And we all want Batman. Who doesn't want Batman? So yes, this is an excellent headset. It's very easy to recommend this headset to anybody who does not have a Quest headset, or anybody who's new to VR and who wants to get into the Quest ecosystem and play virtual reality games and standalone. Moving forward, again, it's got the same processor as the Quest 3, so any titles that are getting released, like the new batch of software that's getting released that's Quest 3 exclusive, is going to run just fine on this. Are there any drawbacks? Yes, of course there are drawbacks. The default strap that comes with the Quest 3 or 3S, like this one, is terrible for most heads, and you're likely going to want to buy a third-party strap, or you could get meta alternative straps, but they're quite expensive, or you could get something like I'm using here a Bobo S3 Pro, because it's nice and it's comfortable, and it comes with a little fan that cools you while you're playing, and it comes with a hot-swappable battery that you can put in whenever you're playing. So if you've got two of these, you can charge them up and keep playing essentially forever. You're probably going to want to get a third-party strap. Now, is this strap going to kill you? No, it isn't. But when you start playing a lot, you're going to get sick of it. Now, differences. As you can see, the sensors and the cameras are placed differently from they are in the Quest 3. Not a big difference. I think some people have said that there's no infrared sensor here, so it doesn't detect when your head is there to turn on and turn off. But I think it uses motion or something. So if you just lay it down, if you just put it away, it'll go to sleep anyway. So that's not a problem. Otherwise, it's got the standard stuff. What it doesn't have is a 3mm headphone socket. So if you want to play these with headphones that you plug into it, well, tough luck. You can use Bluetooth AirPods or EarPods, whatever they're called, but there's going to be a tiny little bit of a lag. I think the lowest goes down to maybe 25 milliseconds, which, depending on how you are, you may or may not consider, terrible. You may consider it perfectly playable. You may consider it not. It kind of depends on what games you're playing. I wouldn't want to play Beat Saber on expert level with a little bit of lag, for instance. But again, it depends what kind of games you're playing, depends how sensitive you are to small audio lag. Otherwise, instead of, on the Quest 3, we double tap, on the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, we double tap to go into pass-through mode. Here you have an action button, which essentially does that. You push this button and it shifts you between pass-through and fully immersive VR. That's really all I've got to say. It's a fantastic headset if you're new to VR, or if you just want to get into the MetaQuest ecosystem. The one criticism that I can definitely put forward is that, yes, the price is very good, but if you're getting the 256 gigabyte model, then you're already paying close to the price of what you would now pay for a Quest 3. So if you're getting the 256 gigabyte system and you're sort of confident that you're going to be playing VR for a while, I would say pay the little extra, get a Quest 3, and I would honestly recommend paying a little bit extra, even more, and just going for a 512 gigabytes. You don't need 512 gigabytes, but if you're a hardcore player and you don't have 512 gigabytes, the new games come in, some of the new games come in like the big games, the AAA games, like we're talking about Assassin's Creed Nexus, we're talking about things like Resident Evil, we're talking about things like Batman is probably going to be pretty big too, and like Asgard's Wrath 2. Those games are big, they're tens of gigabytes, and if you have a 128, then you're going to basically be able to install 2 or 3 of those at a time, maybe 4, and you're going to have to keep deleting and reinstalling and uninstalling games whenever you want to play a new game. You're not going to be able to keep that many games on your Quest simultaneously, whereas if you have 512, things are significantly more comfortable. So that's really the only thing I'd say. If you're going into VR hardcore, if you're going into the Quest hardcore, get a free, because you get the 512 option as well. Pay a little more and get that. But back to what I was saying. If you're new to VR, if you're looking for a first VR headset, or if you just don't want to pay more than $300, this is fantastic. This is great. Easy recommend, 2 thumbs up or whatever. We give numerical scores. What would I give this as a numerical score? For the price, I would give it a 9. I mean, take away the price. If it and request free were the same price, obviously my score would be different. But as it stands, as you're getting a quest free with very minor differences that most people wouldn't even be sensitive about or care about, and you're getting it for $200 cheaper. So there you go. That's everything I've got to say. Done for request free S. Tell us what you think about it and tell us what you opted for. And if you have any questions about it that I haven't answered, please put them in the comments. Let me know what you'd like me to answer and I'll be happy to answer. Oh, how could I not mention this? If you're into mixed reality gaming, you can play Lego Brick Tales, you can play games that any game that works in mixed reality is going to work on this. The pass-through is just as good as the quest free. It's literally the same. So there's no, again, there's very little sacrifice here. It's the type of the lenses, it's the slightly lower resolution, it's the lack of a headphone socket, which may be a deal breaker for some, but really, those are the main differences. So, anyway, I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it useful. Again, if you have any other questions about it, ask us in the comments. We'll be happy to answer. And if you're not following our podcast, why not?